Shan Cai, Shen Yue, and Dao Ming Dylan Wangl on a sweet date at the zoo. Meteor Garden. Imagine yourself transported back to the whirlwind world of Meteor Garden, where the air is thick with unspoken tensions, fiery passions, and a kind of romantic chaos that keeps you glued to the screen, wondering if true love can ever emerge from the storm of misunderstandings and clashing egos that define the lives of our beloved characters. Shan Cai and Dao Ming played with such raw intensity by Shen Yue and Dylan Wangl, whose on-screen chemistry has sparked endless debates among fans about whether their connection is merely scripted or something far deeper, something that lingers in stolen glances and heated arguments that somehow always circle back to tenderness. And now, picture this: what if I told you that amid all the drama of elite university life, bullying, and family pressures, there exists a moment so unexpectedly sweet, so laden with potential for genuine connection, that it stands out like a beacon in the night, a date at the zoo that begins with promise but spirals into the kind of unpredictable adventure that tests the very foundations of their budding romance, leaving you breathless and begging the question, could this seemingly innocent outing be the turning point where pride gives way to vulnerability, or will it unravel everything they've built so far, forcing us to ask ourselves, in our own lives, have we ever had a date that started with butterflies and ended in a battle of wills, and if so, did it bring us closer or push us apart forever? As the story unfolds in episode 15, we find Dao Ming, that brooding heir to unimaginable wealth, whose temper flares like a sudden thunderstorm yet whose heart beats with an unspoken devotion to Shan Cai, the feisty girl from humble beginnings who refuses to be intimidated by his status or his outbursts, casually extending an invitation that catches her off guard, suggesting they spend the entire day together. No grand gestures or lavish plans, just the two of them exploring what it might mean to simply be in each other's company without the weight of the F4's interference or the shadows of past conflicts looming over them. And Shan Cai, with her cheeks flushing in that endearing way that Shen Yue captures so perfectly, hesitates for a moment, her mind racing with questions about his intentions, because after all the times he's helped her, from lending money when she was desperate to standing by her side in the cooking contest that showcased her determination, why now, why this sudden shift from antagonism to something that feels suspiciously like affection? But she agrees, setting the stage for what should be a romantic escape. Yet as viewers, we can't help but wonder, will this day live up to the fairy tale expectations we've built in our minds, or is fate about to throw in a twist that no one sees coming? But wait, here's where it gets crazy, because the morning of the date arrives, and Shan Cai, ever the responsible one, finds herself saddled with an unexpected responsibility when a neighbor's child shows up at her door with a note from his parents, pleading for her to watch over him for the day since her own family is away, transforming what was meant to be an intimate rendezvous into a makeshift family outing. And as she arrives at the meeting spot a bit late, child in tow, Dao Ming expression shifts from eager anticipation to visible frustration, his brows furrowing in that signature Dylan Wangl scowl that somehow manages to be both intimidating and oddly charming, complaining loudly about how this wasn't what he had in mind, how he envisioned a day filled with quiet conversations and perhaps a few stolen moments, not chaperoning a kid through the crowds. But despite his grumbling, they press on, deciding to turn the situation to their advantage by heading to the zoo, a place teeming with life and wonder, where the exotic animals roaming in their enclosures mirror the wild emotions bubbling beneath the surface of their relationship. And tell me, viewers, have you ever been on a date where an uninvited guest completely derailed your plans, making you question if the universe is testing your patience or perhaps your compatibility? And if so, did you storm off in anger or find a way to embrace the chaos, just like these two are about to do? As they step through the gates of the zoo, the air filled with the distant roars of lions and the chatter of monkeys swinging from branch to branch, Shan Cai and Dao Ming begin to navigate this new territory together, holding hands in a way that feels both natural and charged with electricity, the child's wide-eyed excitement pulling them along from exhibit to exhibit, starting with the playful penguin sliding into the water with effortless grace, a sight that draws a rare, genuine smile. From Dao Ming as he watches Shan Cai laugh freely, her usual guarded demeanor softening in the presence of such innocent joy, and for a fleeting moment, it seems like the perfect setup for romance, with Dao Ming sneaking glances at her, his earlier annoyance melting away as he realizes that even in this improvised scenario, being with her is what matters most. But then, as they pause near the giraffe enclosure, where the towering creatures stretch their necks to nibble on leaves, Shan Cai turns to him with a serious expression, probing deeper into his motivations, asking why he's been so kind lately, why he goes out of his way to help her when their history is riddled with arguments and power struggles, and Dao Ming, caught off guard by her directness, responds with a mix of defensiveness and affection, calling her stupid in that affectionate way that only he can pull off, insisting that of course she's the reason, that everything he does is for her, but the words come out sharper than intended, sparking an argument that escalates quickly, their voices rising amid the ambient sounds of the zoo, drawing curious looks from passers-by. And here's where it gets even crazier, because in the heat of the moment, Dao Ming sets the child down gently to focus on the confrontation, their bickering turning into a full-blown shouting match that echoes the untamed spirit of the animals around them. Yet underneath it all, there's an undeniable spark, a passion that suggests this isn't just conflict for conflict's sake, but a way for them to express the feelings they struggle to articulate otherwise, leaving us to ponder, dear viewers, is this the kind of love that thrives on friction, where every disagreement is a step closer to understanding, or are they doomed to repeat the same cycles until one of them breaks? The date continues in this push and pull rhythm, moving from the elephant habitat where the massive beasts trumpet in the distance, symbolizing the enormous obstacles in their path, to the monkey area where the primates' antics mirror their own playful yet chaotic interactions, with Shan Cai trying to mediate the child's enthusiasm while Dao Ming sulks, his pride wounded by her questions. But gradually, as the afternoon wears on, moments of sweetness pierce through the tension, like when Dao Ming buys ice cream for the child and, in a subtle gesture, offers a bite to Shan Cai, their fingers brushing in a way that sends a shiver down her spine, or when they stand together watching the tigers prowl with majestic power, Dao Ming quietly admitting that he just wanted to spend time with her, no strings attached, his voice softening to reveal the vulnerability he so rarely shows. And Shen Yue's portrayal of Shan Cai in these scenes is nothing short of captivating, her eyes reflecting a mix of confusion, warmth, and growing affection, making us root for them even as they stumble. But wait, the drama doesn't stop there, because as they exit an exhibit, Dao Ming in a childish bid for attention or perhaps revenge for the earlier argument, intentionally trips Shan Cai, sending her tumbling lightly, only for them to end up wrestling playfully on the ground, laughter mixing with mock outrage, the child giggling nearby, turning what could have been a disaster into a memory that bonds them closer, though from an outsider's perspective, it might seem utterly ridiculous, prompting us to ask ourselves, in the grand tapestry of romance, are these silly, immature moments the ones that truly forge unbreakable connections, or do they highlight the immaturity that could ultimately tear them apart? And what would you do if your date pulled such a prank, laugh it off or walk away in huff? As the sun begins to dip lower in the sky, casting a golden hue over the zoo's pathways, the trio makes their way through the aviary, where colorful birds flutter overhead in a symphony of wings and calls, providing a backdrop for Shan Cai and Dao Ming to tentatively reconcile, their earlier shouts giving way to quieter conversations about dreams and fears, with Dao Ming opening up about the pressures of his family legacy and Shan Cai sharing her own struggles with self-doubt, creating a rare space of honesty amid the day's upheavals, and it's in these interludes that the sweetness of the date truly shines through, reminding us why fans have fallen so hard for this pairing, the way Dylan Wang's Dao Ming transforms from arrogant prince to smitten suitor, his eyes lighting up whenever Shan Cai smiles, and Shen Yue's nuanced performance capturing the internal conflict of a girl torn between independence and the allure of love. But here's where it gets truly insane, because just When it seems like they might end the day on a high note, external forces begin to creep in, with whispers from friends and rivals threatening to sabotage their progress, leading to a chain of events that spirals the episode into further drama, including a trip to Canada amid a blizzard, where emotions run even higher. But for now, in this zoo interlude, we're left hanging on the edge, wondering if this sweet yet tumultuous date will be the catalyst for their official union or just another chapter in their endless saga of near misses. And tell me, viewers, after hearing all this, does it make you want to rewatch the episode right now, to relive every glance, every argument, every tender moment, and perhaps reflect on your own romantic adventures that started with good intentions but evolved into something far more profound? Yet, the beauty of this scene lies not just in the surface-level antics but in the deeper layers it reveals about their characters, how Dao Ming sees initial fury at the child's presence masks his fear of rejection, everything is controlled except his heart, and Shan Cai's probing questions aren't meant to push him away but to understand the man behind the facade, her bravery in confronting him head-on a testament to her strength, which is what drew him to her in the first place, and as they navigate the zoo's winding paths, pausing at the reptile house where snakes coil mysteriously, symbolizing the hidden dangers in their relationship, or the butterfly garden where delicate wings flutter freely, representing the fragility of their budding love, we see glimpses of what could be, a partnership built on mutual respect and shared laughter, even if it comes wrapped in layers of conflict, making us question, in the quiet moments of our own lives, have we ever fought with someone we care about only to realize that the fight was just a bridge to deeper intimacy, and if not, what are we missing out on by playing it safe? But wait, let's dive even deeper into the nuances of their interactions, because as the child tugs at their hands, leading them to the sea lion show where the animals perform flips and splashes to the delight of the crowd, Dao Ming finds himself reluctantly participating, holding the child up for a better view while Shan Cai stands beside him, their shoulders touching in a way that speaks volumes without words, and in that instant, the frustration fades, replaced by a sense of family, however temporary, that hints at future possibilities, though Dao Ming grumbles about the smells and the crowds add a layer of humor that lightens the mood, his complaints met with Shan Cai's eye rolls and witty retorts, creating a dynamic that's as entertaining as it is endearing, and here's where it gets absolutely wild, because amid the applause for the sea lions, Shan Cai leans in close to whisper something teasing, prompting Dao Ming to chase her playfully around the seating area. The child cheering them on, turning the zoo into their personal playground, a far cry from the stuffy boardrooms and high society events that define his world. And viewers, can you feel the shift, that magical transition from annoyance to joy? And doesn't it make you yearn for a love that's as unpredictable as it is passionate, one that keeps you on your toes and never lets you get too comfortable? As the date winds down, with the zoo's closing announcements echoing in the background, Shan Cai and Dao Ming share a quiet bench near the exit, the child dozing off against her side, and in this serene moment, away from the earlier chaos, Dao Ming reaches out to tuck a strand of hair behind her ear, his touch lingering just a second too long, their eyes locking in a gaze that's heavy with unspoken promises, and Shan Cai, for once, doesn't pull away, allowing the vulnerability to wash over her, a silent acknowledgement that despite the arguments, the interruptions, and the pranks, this day has brought them closer, peeling back another layer of their complex relationship, leaving us, the audience, with hearts full and minds racing, eager for what comes next in their story. And so I ask you, after immersing yourself in this tale of a sweet zoo date turned epic adventure, what do you think will happen in the episodes to follow? Will love conquer all, or will new storms arise to test them further? And more importantly, how does this resonate with your own experiences of love found in the most unexpected places?